Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to an old friend and one of my favourite people, Jimmy Osmond. How are you?
Alex, it's always good to see you, buddy.
You're amazing. I tell you why. You've been doing this your entire life. You still look like you want to be here. You've got an amazing show with a wonderful energy, and the punters still find you delicious.
Well, I don't know about delicious, but we're having fun. And I think that's the key, don't you? It's just, I think the audiences nowadays are so smart. You can't just call it in. You have to be genuine. You have to love what you do because they can see right through it. And you know what? I think that's been the key is to stay diverse, do plays, do shows like this, jukebox shows. I mean, I'm stuck in the 70's, you know. But do stuff that you genuinely enjoy, and the audience will enjoy it because they know you're up for it. They know you care about them being there. And I think everybody has a better experience, don't you?
Very interesting. I mean, you've got this new album out, which is the 70's Jukebox, which is also the tour, and there's still a demand, for you doing this music, but this music generally, it's never been more popular.
Yeah, you know, it's a big seller. All my family bought one. No, actually, the CD just came out, but it's a bit late, you know, because we've just finished 52 one-nighters, as we were saying, and we only have 7 left this year anyway, and then on to Panto, right? But yeah, you know, all of these songs I have history with and great memories, touring with people like David Essex and Leo Sayer and, you know, all of these great people that you know as well. And it's just really been fun to perform these songs because for me, besides the video behind you, it just evokes so many memories, you know.
Let's talk as if we've never met before. I mean, when we look back at the beginning of your career and the Andy Williams days, to think that some 4 or 5 decades later you'd own his theatre and keep his legacy going is really quite remarkable, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, I was always the least of the bunch, and you know, I never thought showbiz would last for me, and I never did. And so that's why I was willing to do any job, you know. That's why I produce a lot, and I don't have to be the star of anything, you know. You know me pretty well. And it just blows my mind that I find myself in this position. I thought last year when, you know, my brothers and I did one last arena tour that I put together, and I thought, well, that's it for me. And then all of these amazing offers just keep coming, and I said yes to all of them. And parts have fallen off now, so I'm kind of a bit more cautious. But, you know, it just blows my mind. I'm 55 years old, and I haven't stopped since I was 3.
I think what you guys have got with the Osmonds is this history that we just go back to a better place. And I was lucky enough to sit opposite your sister only a couple of months ago, and I said the same to her. There isn't anybody who's going to say a bad word because we only have good memories. You keep it classy and you deliver. All of you put on a show and you care. You don't rip anybody off, and that's why you're still here.
Well, I think Andy Williams kind of set the tone, and my dad never wanted us to ever kind of think about the gold records or the hits or whatever. You go in any one of our houses, you don't see that, you know. It's about getting involved in a craft that we could do, not just to be famous, but that we could enjoy and we could lift people up a little bit and lift ourselves in the process. And we've been able to do that, and not without a lot of hard work. And you know, we have our scars like everybody, but as a family, I think we're intact, and it's amazing because we have every reason in the world to not speak to each other, all of that garbage that goes on, and people want to pit one against the other, and usually the manager's in the middle, and then you finally realize you get in a room with your brother or your sister and you just love them, and it's really lucky to have survived this business.
I'm not speaking out of turn, but I don't think I've met any family member who doesn't have respect for your business capabilities, if not your on-stage persona. You are the brains behind a lot of what goes on with the Osmonds and its brand. When did that become natural to you?
See, I don't agree. I think I was just the one that did the jobs they didn't want to do.
But often they're the most important.
Often the devil's in the detail. And, you know, when you go in and you make a deal at a venue or you do a sponsorship agreement, whether it's for you or your family or for another artist, you realize the repercussions of not setting it up properly. And I've been the guy, not only for my family, but for others that have been thrown in that position. And I just kind of learned it by osmosis, really, just watching and learning from mistakes. Mistakes are the best teacher.
Right.
And boy, have I made some mistakes. And the truth is, though, you know, to this day, we've never hurt anybody. And it's just been a great learning experience to be on both sides, you know. My company still produces. Well, last night we had Ronnie Millsap at my theater, and next we have Tanya Tucker and Michael Bolton, and all these shows are going on while I'm doing what I love to do, which is singing 70s music, you know.
It's very interesting how the business has changed. I don't think it's ever changed more than in the last 2 or 3 decades, and you've now got a theatre and you have to make it profitable. Is that tricky? Because finding artists that can put bums on seats for a start is very difficult because it's so expensive to put these shows on.
It really is expensive, and I found kind of a blended mix for me from a business standpoint. Owning your own show and running it as a running show is probably the most profitable, because you can really sit it down, tweak it, make it right. The one-off shows, I don't care who you are, it's hard to sell a hard ticket. And the bigger the stars, the bigger risk. And so it's been a really interesting, ever-moving target to try to stay relevant in show business, and as well as from a business perspective, to still move forward. But yeah, you know, this is my 3rd theater that I've owned, and I never expected to own Andy's theater. And it was, when he asked me, it was kind of a bit of a shock, and I'd never wanted to turn him down, but I've somehow made it work. And it should be in a charity like all other big performing arts centers. It's 2,100 seats, and we do 411 shows there this year. And that's what it takes just to keep it going. And so it's done with a lot of love and a lot of respect. And I think people know that, the people that book bus tours, or locals especially, they get that it's done for more reasons than just trying to get ahead financially.
I was thinking about the last time I stood on this stage, and it was about 1.5 years ago with Sir Ken Dodd, who was here and sold it out.
Dodd, he was a water rat like me. Yeah.
Well, he was the equivalent to Andy to you. He was my hero and mentor, and I loved him so much. And I think of all the people you've met starting with Andy. I mean, what an incredible life and career you've had, meeting other people who are just legends, so influential.
Yeah, you know, I've known a lot of people. I look back now, and I have childhood memories, like memories that a child would take with them, and which is kind of sad in a way, but unique. You know, I mean, I knew all of these fancy people just as Uncle Frank or so-and-so. You know what I'm saying? And now you see the legacies, and it's almost like you don't even recognize that, because when we were growing up, these fancy people were Andy's friends, and we were just there and on his shows. And then eventually they'd do our shows, or I'd promote them, or you know what I mean. And it's really been a neat experience to have rubbed shoulders with so many people. And you'd be surprised how some of these amazingly huge celebrities act when they're private, when they're real, when they're not having to put on a face. And it would touch your heart. You'd see how vulnerable a lot of these big stars were and are.
And I think you learn more from standing in the wings watching people off stage than you do ever in front of the curtain, because that really is a true testament of your character, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's also, I think, the true testament of a real character is how people treat others when they're not being watched. And I've seen some amazing things from people that are my heroes because of that. Yeah. And big names and people that are just, you know, showing up every day. You know, to me, the most interesting people are the ones that aren't in the spotlight, because they don't have to play good, they don't have to care, but they do, and it just, you know, they're my heroes.
What will it feel like in about an hour when you hear the roar of the audience, the lights go down, the curtains open, and you stand out in front of that pin focus? Is it still as exciting as it was 40 years ago?
Yeah, it really is, but you become a different person. I'm kind of a shy guy, and you'd never know it, I don't think, because of reality shows and all the silly things that I do. I'm not afraid to try things, you know. But when you hit the stage, it's just all those years, that muscle memory comes back, and you connect with people, and you just jump out of your shell, and it's just something that I love to do. And it's something I've always done. I thought every kid did this. And I'm now a big kid, and I'm still doing it. And I'm so grateful. And I know I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for people wanting to remember their history, that you happen to be lucky enough to be on the radio or on television. It's about them. It's about the people that come see you. And I think when you get that as an entertainer, it takes a lot of pressure off. And you're just there as a ringmaster to bring back all of those memories.
What I love as well is you sign a check when you come into a theatre and you hope for the best, but with your family, you always give it 100%. And I think internally, as you walk on that stage, I know that you know you've got to deliver, and that's not in question, is it? It's 100% or nothing.
Well, am I getting paid to do this? No. I'd pay to do this. I'm serious. I love interacting with people, and I love the fact that I recognize people that have stuck with us all these years, my goodness. And when you look at them, you realize you get the energy to do a good job, hopefully. And I have a great cast with me, and we're doing all of the big hits. And it's just really fun to be a small part of it.
I never ever get bored of watching you live, and this Christmas we'll get to see you in another pantomime, the biggest in history in the UK. The Birmingham Hippodrome is the most glorious, spectacular. Last year I said it was better than the Palladium. I stand by that. They give you an amazing show, and you've got the glorious Matt Slack. You two are going to kill it this year. I just know it.
I'm really looking forward to it. And I've played the Hippodrome before in other plays like Chicago and others, but to come back as Captain Hook is really good. I can't wait to put the teeth in. And I've done it before, And at first, Q Dodd says, Jimmy, you're not the kind of guy. That's not your personality to be a baddie. But I love being a baddie. But it's really been fun to just totally get into a character and make the little kids cry. I know that sounds demented, but I love it, and I love that you can still be yourself and still do your hit records and have people love it when you can laugh at yourself a bit and just enjoy the moment and be a part of a great cast that we have this year.
I know you're not going to like this because compliments never sit well with you, but to be the biggest face and the biggest name in the #1 panto must mean that you're still incredibly relevant and people still want to see you. That's got to be humbling after all these years. It's fantastic.
It's humbling to be the biggest face. I got to work on that. No, it is humbling, and I'm so honored. I don't even know how many pantos I've done, but I'm one of the last Americans still standing doing it. And because I get it. I mean, I grew up over here. I love this culture. I love this country. I love the people I work with. And
it is bizarre, isn't it, panto, when you think about it? I mean, you got men dressed as women, women dressed as men with one hand's playing captains on a ship. I mean, it's very confusing.
It's the story of my life. Are you kidding? I mean, that's the way I grew up on variety television. Seriously. I mean, Milton Berle would dress up like a lady and come out and do Carmen Miranda, and I'd do Paul Lynde and I'd dress up as a shark. I mean, there's nothing different than the way I grew up. That slapstick humor. And I'll give it to you guys over here. You really are funny. And I love how intelligent these pantomimes are written because it speaks to all the different demographics that come. And Q Dodd does the most amazing job with costumes and spectacle and casting with some wonderful people I'm thrilled to meet. And I love to laugh, so this should be a great one.
You talk about the diet and staying fit. I mean, 2 shows a day for the longest run in Britain. I mean, this goes on, I think, for nearly 7 weeks, doesn't it? It's the longest running panto in Britain, 2 shows a day. How do you prepare for that? I mean, it's a full workout. It's better than going to the gym.
Yeah, lots of biscuits. No, I don't know. I don't really. I grew up doing this. I'd be great in prison because, I've learned how to entertain myself. And I grew up in Las Vegas doing 2 shows a day, And at my theater in Missouri, sometimes we do 2 shows a day. So it's not hard, especially when you love it. And you can sing the same songs. I've done it for years. And it's down to the people. Every time you're with a different audience, it's a different experience, even with the same material. And I love it. I love doing what I do. I don't know what else I want to do in the future, but more of it. And plays are something I really love. I hope I'll be asked to do some more of those then.
Well, it's very interesting. I think the first time we met face to face was with Grease in London, and you toured so many shows over the years, as you mentioned, Chicago. I guess that's a natural home for you, really, because you've got a great voice and people want to see you and they need a star in these shows now. That's just the business. So this is a natural synergy, isn't it?
Well, I've loved it. When you were there, that was the day that I met Liz Hurley. She was a childhood crush. And she used to say that she loved me when we were very little. So she came in that day, and I think I was a mess. I was a wreck. And my wife
spoke to me. It's natural.
Well, my wife totally laughed at me for that. But, we all have our childhood crushes. But, no, I love performing in London theater, or we tour quite a bit as well. I spent a little bit of time in Ireland doing Grease there. And I just got back doing my little Moon River tour there. But I love going to different places, meeting new people, making new friends. What else is there?
I've watched you all over the country do your show, and very finally, the reaction of your audience. It is incredible, and you're all growing up together, if you know what I'm saying. But these ladies, they're still as obsessed with you as they ever were, Jimmy.
Well, they used to bang and scream on the doors. Now we just let them out. No, but it is cool, and you do see people that went to see you at the Royal Albert Hall or wherever, and they still come along to all of these shows, and they go on tour with you practically, and it just blows my mind after so many years to have so many loyal friends. It's very humbling and very thrilling, and like I say, for me, I never thought showbiz would last, and especially when I stopped performing with my brothers, it was like, you mean there's really opportunity for just me? And there was, and I'm just so grateful and humbled that there is.
I don't think you can see yourself for 100 miles, because to buy this type of loyalty takes a whole lifetime, which you've given, and I think you're only getting back what you've put out, which is positivity and love and a beautiful show. This new album's wonderful. It is the 70's Jukebox, which is available now. You can get it on Amazon, and you can see the tour as well. Back next year, what have we got after Pancer?
We have a few more Jukebox weekends, which I'm thrilled. But back to what you were saying is, I know I wouldn't have had these opportunities if it wasn't for a great family that worked really, really hard, my brothers especially, and for mentors like Andy Williams and others that really stuck their neck out for us and didn't need to. And I think we owe a huge debt of gratitude to that every day, because when we have an opportunity to perform, it's not about us, it's not about me. It's just about this wonderful ride that we've had. And we're kind of like an old pair of shoes, He keeps showing up, and I love it. I love the connection we have with an audience.
And we are such an insignificant country. We're so tiny in terms of the globe, but my God, do we love the Osmonds. It's incredible, the popularity over here. It must even be surprising to you that some 4 or 5 decades later, you're almost as big, if not bigger, than you were originally.
Well, no, this country's special, though. No matter where we go in the world, everybody looks here for fashions, for trends. But one thing that you guys are loyal.
Right.
And that means a lot, especially to a old pop star. It's just, it's really humbling to see people time in and time again to come to your shows and see multiple shows on a tour. And it's just, don't deserve it, but it's just wonderful.
And we love to see you on the TV. Of course, you did the cooking thing last year. We love that.
Yeah.
When are we going to see you again?
Nobody wants me to sing anymore. They want me to cook.
That's showbiz.
That is showbiz. But, I love having so many touch points. Some people saw me in the jungle. Some people saw a pop star, opera star, or the Master Chef. Whatever it is, it brings a big, broad demographic to these shows. And you hit the stage and you're instant friends because you have those touch points, connections with people, and that is really something special, and that's something you do earn over the years. And and I never would have had those chances if people didn't stick their necks out for me, so I'm grateful.
Keep on keeping on. We love you very much. Jimmy Osmond will be on tour with the 70's Jukebox, and the CD is available now and in Pancer at Birmingham Hippodrome this Christmas for, nearly 2 months, really. Congratulations. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. It's always good to see you.
Beautiful.